So we've just spent the last 3 days going across Holland through the canals from the east side to the west, Delfzijl in the east to now IJmuiden in the west, going through Amsterdam on the way. But now we're on the west coast, we're ready to go over to the UK. Problem is the winds aren't perfect, they're going to be pretty strong. You can see here they go up to force 7, even force 8. But if we're not going as close to the wind as possible, going downwind slightly, then that's not so bad. And we can reef more easily, put up less sail, and still make pretty good progress and be pretty safe even in those winds. So tomorrow we'll set off and hope for maybe a 36-hour crossing. Right, just past 9 o'clock. We've been going for about an hour. We're fully reefed. The wind's about 20 knots. Maybe up to 25 sometimes. And there's IJmuiden in the distance. At the moment we're going a little bit too far south, but the wind should turn round and so we'll make that up and hopefully get a good course in about 6 hours time. Right, we're about 12 hours in. We're coming up to 8:30. Looks like this ahead is the front that's going to change the wind direction. So currently we're on a tack outwards, trying to get a bit further north, and this should change the wind direction, and then we should be able to go slightly downwind. That's hopefully. Let's see what happens in about an hour's time. So it's just on 9:30. The moon's just coming up. You can see loads of boats anchored out there. They're anchored off Rotterdam. We're about 50 miles into the journey now. Pretty much on cue, the wind has arrived from the north. It's very light at the moment, it's only 8 knots. And what lies ahead is quite a lot of clouds still. And there are even some gale warnings, so we're expecting the winds to pick up quite a lot. So we seem to get through that front quite quickly. It took a couple of hours. There's quite a lot of rain involved with it. But now the stars are out. Quite a few thunderstorms as well, but we've missed them so far. Now I've preemptorily reefed both the mainsail and the jib. The winds are getting up to about 24 knots and we're making really great progress. This is absolutely wild. The winds have picked up. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning and they're steady over 30 knots. We're going straight across them, which means we're headed upwind where we want to be. We've got the jib reefed to a smidgen at the front. If things get worse, the plan is to turn further south, possibly reef a bit more, and going further south and actually running with the wind so it'll slow down a little bit. Apparent wind on us, and that'll be a little bit safer. But at the moment we're going like a dream, we're going over 7 knots and making excellent progress. Well, we made loads of progress during the night. We got about 50 miles, and so we've only got about 50 miles to go now. The sun is just coming up. The next thing to do, we're going to go into the Thames Estuary, so we've got to miss all the sandbanks that are there. But we've got the navigation equipment that we need to do that, so we should be okay. And the wind is in a perfect direction. The waves have calmed down a bit now because we're in the Thames Estuary, just starting to get to the entrance of it. And unfortunately the main sheet has come off its travel, which means we can't use the mainsail. That happened when we jibed coming in here, so the boom's just tied on there. But we've got the jib up, a tiny smidgen of it, and we've also got the motor going, so hopefully it'll only be about 5 hours before we get there, and hopefully these waves die down soon. There's quite some carnage inside, all the things that have fallen out. And the water is just sloshing around on the stove and in the bottom here and front there. I'm going to try to mop out bilges now. So this is the amount of water in the bilges. It's basically coming through the windows here, which are really not very solid when the waves are breaking over the side of the boat. So I'm going to try and get this out with this bucket. Finally arrived at Swale. That's got to be the best sail I've ever done. Certainly it's the fastest winds I've been in. Consistently over 30 knots and through the night. My hands are absolutely knackered now. and so my arms, and so am I didn't sleep last night because I was sailing all the way through the night. I haven't had any food today, but I'm about to have some food now. So I'll look back on that and just think that was absolutely fantastic. And it seems we're learning well, because there was no damage to any of the sails this time. We always managed to reef in time. The only slight bit of damage was to that track for the main sheet, but we've already worked out how to replace that shackle, so that's going to be fine as well. So all in all, an excellent sail. There's a bit of a sad postscript to this story. This is the morning of the day after. I've just looked at the front of the boat and see the side of the dinghy here. It's gone right through this front stay, right through the gunwale of the dinghy as well. Now this dinghy is 45 years old. My dad built it when he got his first boat. I learned to sail in it. My son's just learned to sail in it, and now we've really damaged it. So this will have happened when the waves were crashing over the front of the boat and just smashing the dinghy into this stay. At least it protected the front windows from all those waves. Well, hopefully that can be repaired as well.